Since I got my thoughts running, if you guys saw the first episode, I basically just talked about, how things don't always go as planned. And for anybody kind of coming in on this front, or anybody coming in on episode 2, I just finished recording episode 1, so I figured, let me just change the shirt and make it look like it's a different day. It's not, it's the same day. But I want to talk about the second thing that's been on my mind. The goal is to keep this as brief as possible. If you're coming in on the second episode, welcome. We're trying to keep this super casual, almost like, somebody's kind of listening to, me and my thoughts, or maybe a conversation with somebody else talking about just normal things that somebody's going to go through, or anybody goes through who is wanting to get into YouTube, starting a channel, and experiencing frustrations that they had never experienced before, and how to think through it and overcome them. I don't always provide solutions, but I help you all. I really just give you what it is that I go through in order to make it to the next video and keep producing stuff, and at the same time enjoying it and looking back and realizing that there's actually a whole lot of growth to be had. It's just in the moment, it may not feel like it because you're looking at it every 24 hours, whereas sometimes you got to look back and realize, over the span of a year, heck, even just a month, you can grow a whole lot. So this is just to really bring all that into perspective. Today, we're going to talk about, also, this is all super unscripted. Like, there are no notes. The only thing that I have down on my phone are each episode, what I want to talk about. And it's literally just the title. So there's nothing. I mean, these thoughts are just all raw, no edits. Well, a little bit of editing because you guys don't want to be sitting there in silence if I'm there for like 30, 45 seconds. So, but yeah, just one take. What you see is what you get. Your gear, what did I write here? So episode 2, your gear won't match the vision. Oh, yes. This was something that, this is something that I struggled with, I want to say maybe 4 months ago, where it was just really hitting me that, particularly audio. If you saw my gear review, my what's in my camera bag for 2024, I talk about that. I recently upgraded to the DJI Mic 2, and that was huge for me because I don't have an elaborate studio setup where I have soundproofed the walls, and I record a lot of my videos in my living room. As a result, sound bounces everywhere. And so for me, getting the DJI Mic 2 was huge because now it allows me to get, in fact, speaking of which, let me just adjust this really quick because it's driving me crazy. So I got the DJI Mic 2 because, and this was only like in the last couple of weeks, a month ago when I was recording with technology that didn't really capture the best audio, it was very upsetting because there was a lot of things. I really rely on sound, and I really want to get so good at mastering just sound. And so all that to say, a lot of the audio was not great, and it was not matching up to the vision that I had. There were all these ideas I have, and I did do, but it didn't pack that punch because my audio was just horrible. And so that was just something super frustrating. And so I became more and more aware of how bad my audio was and really what I was lacking. I want to say maybe like 6 months into it. So up until like 6 months into my YouTube journey, I didn't really know what I was doing. But then after that, when people started providing feedback, when I started becoming a little bit more aware, when I started watching a whole lot of tutorials on sound design, things like that, I started picking up on the fact that my sound is not that good. And then people really started telling me in the comment section, and I appreciate everybody who did that, who pointed that out, so thank you. And so that's how I arrived to this. Now, obviously, I'm going to be learning a whole lot more in the future. I'll probably upgrade to other things. But for now, up until this point, I was just very frustrated because my tech was not matching up and helping me deliver the vision that I had for my videos. And so I had to get creative. So I quickly realized too that the microphone that I was using did not work well in my living room. So I had to get creative and actually film videos, some of them in my car. I did a review of my DJI Air 3 drone in my car, partly because I was also in such a rush. I didn't have time to sit down, set up lights and anything like that. But also I knew that in my car, I had tested before, the mic picks up the sound better there than in my living room because there's not a whole lot more space for sound to bounce around. So I had to get creative there. I also had to film a lot more videos out in nature, just on the go and almost like a vlogging style. And so that was one of the things too. So I guess for me, the vision was not being, I couldn't deliver on my vision because my audio was not where I wanted it to be. I typically would have recorded 100% of my videos in my living room because it's just so much easier. I got everything I need. I can just go out, get footage, throw it in as B-roll, as the talking head or the A-roll is in my living room. But that audio piece just was not doing it for me. And so that's where I had to get creative. That's how come if you look back on a lot of my videos, not by choice, because I would have done it in my living room, I had to record in other environments where I knew that the audio was gonna be better, only because at the time I was not in a position to purchase a new microphone system. So I'm sure a lot of other people might be in situations like that, not so much audio, but I've hear in the comment section, you guys tell me, you know, what are great cameras to upgrade because we're starting on phones, and that's a big thing too. I see a lot of people starting on phones. I started on my phone. This channel's been going on for 1.5 years, but the first 6 to 8 months was all being done on my phone, and even with no audio. So the audio on my iPhone was the only thing I had. I look back in those videos and cringe. It's just horrible. But that's one thing, I guess, the encouragement that I would give from that is you obviously, a lot of us may not be in a position to buy all the latest gear that we need to. You know, it's gonna take time. For me, it's taken one piece of tech over time to build up, and I'm definitely nowhere near the inventory I'd want, the tech that I want, but I've got to work with what I got. The encouragement that I would give is whatever you have in your hand, master that. Become obsessed with knowing every inch of your phone, your camera, whatever you've got. If you have a certain amount of money to buy something, you need to be very selective and you need to be very specific. If you understand everything about your camera, you'll begin to also, in tandem with that, your vision will become developed and you'll start going in one direction where you realize then, okay, I do need better audio. Or maybe I need better visual, and maybe the audio I can get from licensed sites from like Epidemic Sound or Artlist. So there's ways to compensate. It doesn't mean you're always gonna use your voice. You may just need music. And so, and I'm not saying go out and buy the latest mic. It's just, for me, that worked out that way because I speak a lot to my videos. And so I need a better mic. But for other people, I see that they don't speak a whole lot. They just need better sounds. They need better music. And so some of them I've seen, they'll actually buy a decent enough mic, go out and record their own sounds because the cost of a subscription may be too much on a yearly basis for one of these sites. And that's the way that some people are getting by. For me, the temptation was I want to quit because I don't have the tech and I can't deliver on what I want to do. And you know, the reality is that's just not how any of this works. Like, I don't know a single YouTuber who just started off with having everything thrown in their lap and then they just produce the most banger videos. That just doesn't happen. It takes time. I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully somebody can sympathize with that, resonate with that. If you do, as always, I'll just encourage you. So please let me know in the comments, let me know what you think, if I'm the only one, if I'm not the only one. And we're gonna see you guys in the next video. The next one is gonna be on ideas are hard to come by. So the frustration of how it may be difficult to get good ideas, and you may be tempted to copy others, or you may be tempted to just quit because you can't think of anything, and 1 week turns into a month and then a year, and then you've abandoned the channel because you haven't uploaded anything because of lack of ideas. So if you haven't checked out the first video, that's where the conversation starts off. It's a fun one, but we'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.